Yeah. Hello and welcome to the Reykjavík Grapevine's Newscast. My name is Valur Grettisson. I'm the editor-in-chief at the Reykjavík Grapevine magazine, a cultural magazine, if you haven't seen that before. We're here at, we're in Öskjuhlíð. Just to make it a little bit more simple for you, it's very close to Perlan, which is the odd, like, round house in the middle of the city. We're here, of course, to tell you the news. We're not at the volcano because the volcano site is closed because of weather. It's been a very bad 2 days. Well, more than that, been like really bad 3 days actually. But we'll be there at Thursday, hopefully. Well, we will go there on Wednesday. You will see it on Thursday, just to be very accurate about it. Here you can see Polly. You can see also that Polly has this help. What do you call it? Like, we say hjálpartæki in Icelandic, like a help gadget. This is her cone of shame. It was worse, but we bought this because the other one, I think it was hurting her. She couldn't even eat with it. But she had an operation. You can see it perhaps here. It's on her back of her neck. She had a growth here. They had to cut it away, and it went very, very well. So she is, as you can see, incredibly energetic, perhaps a little bit too energetic, but but she's doing very fine. And thank you, of course, for your comments. I put up a photo in the community tab yesterday. You perhaps saw that. A lot of people that was a very nice regards this, and I'm thankful for this. Also, I just wanted to tell you, of course, about our YouTube membership. It's really nice. It's a beautiful community, and I encourage you to be a part of it. We also have, of course, a lot of stuff, not only Volcano, but we also have just basic news and a lot of culture, of course, also, because that's basically our bread and butter. We also have High Five Club. There are a few tiers in this. It doesn't cost much if you want to have it very cheap, but then you can have, you will get a lot of stuff from us. Links, papers, and basically everything that we are doing. In my opinion, it's very beneficial, and we basically love that community also. But we're here for the news and throwing for Polly, I guess. So let's go for it. The biggest news today, actually, is the free trade agreement. This is a bill that has been proposed at the U.S. Senate in connection with the Arctic region. We are, of course, in the Arctic region with the North Atlantic Ocean, or just the Atlantic Ocean. We are in the north, and this is very, very important area in various ways, actually. There was Lisa Murkowski, a Republican Senate, and Angus King. Incredible name, actually, Angus King. Anyways, he's independent. He often votes. He's from Maine. He often votes with the Democrats, and they proposed this bill. And it seems to be agreement about this, like either if you're in the Republican Party and the Democratic Party, which is not very often. What this means, this agreement, is that they will. Emphasize on this area with like trying to build infrastructure as well as have free trade, of course, agreement, for example, with Icelanders, and this would mean a lot for Icelanders. And if you actually been in with me and Bjartmar in our like walking tours, we go, of course, over the very interesting relationship between the US as well as the UK, and Icelanders have. We have a lot to be thankful when it comes to these two big military powers, basically. We gained our independence more or less by having these friends on our side, and we have a very strong diplomatic connection, of course, with the US. And this would strengthen this, meaning that Icelanders, this is not only about, for example, fish, which is basically what Iceland is all about. There you go. This is also about, yeah, that was a little bit silly, wasn't it? it also means a lot for a lot of other commodities that we can be selling or buying and whatnot. So once again, we can see the Americans, the US, perhaps helping Iceland just a little bit, not with the infrastructure this time, but when it comes to free trade agreements. Of course, the US is not doing this only because they absolutely love Iceland or the area. This is a part of the geopolitical war when it comes to Russia and China as well. Actually, it wasn't mentioned in the articles today, but China is a huge part of this because they, of course, are hoping that in the future that the sailing route will open through the North Pole, meaning that they would. Their distance between China and the Western world will be shortened considerably, and they are like it's incredibly valuable. It's so valuable, it's ridiculous. And this would of course mean that China are also trying to have more influence. For example, in Iceland, they have been trying to buy up land here. They have been sending diplomatic squads, like committees here and so on. This have often been quite controversial. We are not aligned very much with the Chinese for obvious reason. We are not much up for fascism. But the thing is, of course, that the US is trying also to build up things in Norway and so on. And this, like, if this bill will be passed, this could change a lot, especially business-wise in Iceland, because Icelanders hasn't had much luck getting into the American markets. Obviously because it is so small, but so it goes. Also just a little bit, Lisa Murkowski, she's actually an interesting character. Icelanders know her pretty well, like not the common Icelanders, but if you watch news, you know her pretty well. And the reason is basically because she is often here in the Arctic Circle conference or symposium, which our former president Ólafur Ragnar held, I think, every 2 years. And these are often it's about the matters of the Arctic, about the environmental impacts, as well as trade agreements and so on. It's a little bit like Davos, to be honest. The Icelanders view it like that, but it emphasizes a lot on the environment, yet they all come, of course, on their private jets and so on. So it's never perfect, is it? But Lisa is, of course, has been often in interviews in Iceland, and she's a reasonable woman, in my opinion, at least when it comes to this area. Also, third of Icelandic homes are struggling these days, according to Fréttablað's poll. Fréttablaðið is our basically biggest newspaper in Iceland, and they say that Icelanders can't, like 10% can't make ends meet. This means that, I mean, it's incredibly expensive to live in Iceland. We have high salaries, but everything is incredibly expensive. The biggest part of this is food, because it's hard to import it. Well, not hard, but it's expensive. And our housing bills are also incredibly high. This is, some political parties say this is because of lack of policies when it comes to housing in Iceland. Icelanders have a very clear, it's not official policy, but it is basically policy in Iceland that the politicians want Icelanders to own their own homes. And this is not very easy, especially now when the housing prices are skyrocketing. And if you're in the rental market, then you're basically screwed, to be honest. It's not a good place to be at, especially now. This means also that the groups that are in their biggest trouble here are the ones that live in Suðurnes or Reykjanes. This is interesting because Reykjanes is, of course, next to the volcano, next to the airport and so on. And this group is struggling in various ways, basically. And they well over 60%, well over 50% can't make ends meet there. This is also an area that a lot of immigrants live, and they have gone through some quite shocks. One of these shocks, again, connected to the US, is when the US Army decided to leave in 2005. and then 700 people lost their job. I like 400 to 700. It was like, it depends how you look at it. I don't even know what this is. Yeah, there's a swing here, I think. Me and Artis always telling me to try that out. He loves swings. He loves me to try swings. That's interesting. So, of course, this is no new news for anyone in the world that the people in the city are doing a little bit better than the people in the countryside when it comes to everything. But it's a concern how bad it is actually in the Reykjanes Peninsula. Yeah, and now my favorite news of the day. This is actually incredible. This is like the most Icelandic news of them all. A tourist in Snæfellsnes. Snæfellsnes is a wonderful area in the west of Iceland. It's only like 2 or 3 hours from here, not that far away. He actually stumbled upon a human bone in the area. Before you get too excited, I mean, this definitely sounds like a very good beginning of a Scandinavian crime thriller. This man, this tourist, he basically found this jawbone basically in the ground. The police was called, of course, and they have to assess what's up with this. And they have been asked about this in news, the police, and they say that this might be two things. Like the first thing they need to do is to check out how old the jawbone is. And it's not unlikely that this might be an archaeologist's finding, meaning that this lucky tourist perhaps found a jawbone from some old Viking in the area. Incidentally, and not connected, keep in mind, I'm just telling you this for fun. Iceland's only serial killer was also located in Snæfellsnes. This, bit too much perhaps. This man his name was Axlar Björn, and he was there in the 17th century. And he was notorious psychopath that murdered tourists at the time. It's always tourists. And he murdered them with an axe. And then he dumped the bodies into his well in his land. He was executed at Alþingi because in the 17th century we had death penalties, as well as the US today, of course. We just evolved a little bit when it came to that. Also, we haven't had another serial killer since. So thankfully, well, not that we know of actually, but I'm not like, this is not a connection, this is not a thought, it's just a interesting like connection, and might be, it just shows the area is often like a little bit mysterious and dark in some ways. And I love Snæfellsnes. If you want to see it like in its old glory, you can always go to our UFOs Supernatural show. We were there in a storm actually trying to locate, well, not to locate a UFO, but we were talking about UFOs in Iceland. Yeah, more? Did I see, hey, there's a rabbit there. Hey, they've run away. Polly. What would Polly do with a rabbit? I'm not sure. Do you think I think she would just chase it away, right? Also, a few things that we have to go through here. Before we go any further, because I'm going, of course, to the volcano. I will go in depth over the situation there. But there's been a lot of bad weather, and I told you this on Friday, that Friday would be bad, like in our last video. When was it? Yeah, Friday or Thursday or something. I told you that the weather would be bad, but it would be really bad after the weekend. Doesn't say much, but when an Icelander say the weather would be really bad, it's good to listen at him, especially if it's in the search and rescue teams. But the thing is, there were like a lot of people that actually went to the volcanic stations. Polly, yeah, don't hunt the rabbits, please. There are some rabbits here actually. We're not sure how they came here. I think someone released a rabbit here probably. It's not a part of our natural wildlife, but there are here. Yeah. Anyways, when it comes to, of course, the the volcano, you have to listen to the civil defense. If they say the area is closed, the area is just closed. The people that tried to go there were like, this was a nightmarish hike. We saw photos of this. People were like, it was rainy, windy, and when you got there, you couldn't even see the volcano because the weather was so bad, which is quite something because this volcano is pretty big and pretty like. The fire is huge, but like the weather in Iceland, you can literally just find yourself in the fires all of a sudden if it wouldn't be for the heat before. Also, children at the place. Wait. Children at the place, like I talked about this. You can't take children anymore younger than 12 years old. The reason is gas pollution, but also the hike is 15 kilometers. If a small child could physically get there, but for those that have hiked this distance, they know this is not only about the physical health, it's also just about the mind. And children, they can't do this. Like, for example, I do like shorter hikes with Italy. I have to keep him quite distracted for a while, so he just don't give up because of it. So it means that we have banned this. Like the civil defense has basically banned children under 12 years old to go there. And this is actually the first time I see the government in Iceland actually take measures like this to ban something, because I mean, parents should be trusted to do this, but tourists have been found to be in trouble. And just keep in mind, like when you're taking your child, let's say he's 8 years old and he's 20 kilos. Let's say that the child is so tired that they can't go any further. Of course, you're not going to leave it, that's for sure. But what are you going to do? You have to carry it. To carry extra 20 kilos throughout the 15-kilometer hike is impossible. This means that you will be way too tired to go any further, which also risks the safety of the child. And this also means that you need the help for the search and rescue teams. It's no problem, actually. If you need the help from the search and rescue teams, they are more than happy to help, and they would never charge you for this. Keep that in mind, and tell everyone that you know coming to Iceland that you will never have to pay for any help when it comes to this. We are more concerned about the safety than the money. We don't care about the money. The government pays for the search and rescue teams, as well as me and the other people in Iceland. We donate to them in various ways. So don't worry about that. But yeah, the thing is, just don't take your kids. It's not allowed anymore. It's closed, the volcano, today. Perhaps a little bit late to tell you this now, but tomorrow, hopefully, it will be open. It will be the weather forecast is fine, and me and Arthur are of course going. Polly can't go because she is exactly like a child. She is like about 20 kilos. Her lungs can be affected by the gas. But keep in mind, it's okay to take your animal there if you know what you're doing, as long as you keep the smoke in the back and so on. But there have to be the right circumstances for that. So, what do you say, Polly? She's going to an airplane with an airplane pillow, whatever you call this in English. But anyways. She has to wear this for 10 days now. I mean, that's just the dog's life, I guess. She's very energetic, it's ridiculous. But yeah. Thank you for watching our course. This is it for us today in the newscast. And please like and subscribe. And as I said, if you like this kind of content, you like Iceland, you like anything about Iceland, this is the place to be at. And please become a member. It's a really nice option that we have. And it matters a lot to us. Okay, until then. Hver er boltinn?